In February 2003, the Chohan family, Anil, his wife Nancy, and their two young sons, Ravinder and Devinder, seemed to have the kind of life many dream of. They had a home filled with love, ambition, and laughter. But one day, they simply vanished. No goodbyes, no warning. Their disappearance shocked the community. It would soon unravel into one of the most chilling murder cases in Britain's recent history. Archival-style interview, friend of the family, they were just gone. The whole family. It didn't make sense. Families don't just disappear like that. As detectives began to search for answers, they would uncover a story of greed, betrayal, and ties to the criminal underworld. A story that revealed how a man's hunger for power led to the destruction of an entire family. Act 1. An ordinary family. To understand the horror of what happened, we must first know who the Chohans were. Anil Chohan was an ambitious businessman of Indian heritage. He owned a successful freight company based in London. He had worked tirelessly to build it, and though his business sometimes struggled, he was determined to succeed. Nancy, his wife, was the family's anchor, a loving mother dedicated to raising their children. Their two sons, Ravinder, aged 18 months, and Devinder, just 2 years old, were the center of their world. Interview. Neighbor, they were a happy family. You'd see Nancy with the boys at the park, always smiling. Anil worked hard, but he adored his children. They were just like any young family trying to build a future, but beneath the surface, not everything was perfect. Anil's business was under pressure. Debt loomed, and he had business rivals who saw opportunity in his struggles. Act 2. Shadows of crime. Among those rivals was a man named Kenneth Regan, a fraudster and convicted drug dealer. Regan had ambitions of his own, ambitions that centered on seizing control of Anil's company. Interview. Investigative journalist. Regan wasn't just a businessman. He had a long history of crime, fraud, drugs. He was known to police, and he was ruthless. To him, people were obstacles or tools, nothing more. Regan saw in Anil's company a perfect cover for international drug trafficking. But for his plan to succeed, Anil Chohan had to be removed. Act 3. The vanishing. In late February 2003, the Chohan family was last seen alive. Friends tried to call them, but their phones went unanswered. Days passed, then weeks. Interview. Nancy's brother, Uncle Verma, speaking from New Zealand. I was so excited to see my sister again. We hadn't been together in years. I was calling. No reply. At first, I thought maybe they were busy, but after a while, I knew something was wrong, something terrible. Onkar's concern grew into desperation. He contacted police in Britain, reporting his sister and her family missing. Detectives began to investigate. What they discovered would lead them into a world of lies and deception. Act 4. A trail of lies. Regan had crafted an elaborate scheme. After the Chohan's disappearance, letters surfaced claiming Anil had left the UK to escape financial difficulties, abandoning everything. But detectives quickly grew suspicious. The letters bore signs of forgery. The timeline didn't add up. Interview. Detected the idea that a man would just walk away with his wife, with 2 babies, and not tell anyone. It didn't make sense, and the so-called letters, they were crude. We knew something more sinister had happened. Investigators traced Regan's movements. Phone records, witnesses, and financial documents pointed to his involvement. Yet the family was still missing. Without bodies, proving murder was far more difficult. Act 5. The truth emerges. Slowly, evidence began to reveal the horrific truth. Regan, with the help of accomplices, had lured the Chohans to their deaths. Anil was murdered first. Nancy and the children followed. The goal? To wipe out the family so Regan could seize control of the business without resistance. Interview. Journalist. It wasn't just murder. It was annihilation. Regan wanted the Chohans gone, completely erased. He thought that by killing every single one of them, he could simply step into Anil's shoes. The bodies of Anil, Nancy, and their 2 young children were eventually discovered. The details of their deaths were harrowing, leaving detectives and the public shaken to the core. Act 6. The hunt for justice. With mounting evidence, Regan was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder. The trial that followed gripped the nation. Interview. Court reporter. The courtroom was packed. The atmosphere was tense. You had this man, Regan, sitting there cold, unemotional. While the prosecution laid out the brutal details of how he destroyed a family, the jury heard how Regan's greed and desire for power drove him to orchestrate the murders. They heard about his attempts to cover his tracks with forged letters and lies. And they heard about the devastating impact on the family left behind. Act 7. A brother's grief. For Uncle Verma, Nancy's brother, the loss was almost unbearable. He had looked forward to reuniting with his sister, only to learn she and her family were gone forever. Interview. Uncle Verma, I still can't believe it. I think of my nephews, little boys, so full of life, and my sister. She didn't deserve this. None of them did. It's something you can never heal from. His grief echoed the feelings of many who had known the Chohans. Their absence left a void that could never be filled. Act 8. Verdict and aftermath. After a lengthy trial, Kenneth Regan and his accomplice were found guilty of the murders. The judge condemned them to life imprisonment. For many, justice had been served, yet no sentence could undo the loss. Interview. Detective, we were relieved with the verdict. But in cases like this, there are no winners. An entire family was wiped out. That's something that will stay with us forever. The case served as a chilling reminder of the depths of human greed and cruelty. A family destroyed for profit. Children silenced before they had a chance to grow up. Closing. The legacy of a crime. Today, the story of the Chohan family stands as one of Britain's most haunting true crime cases. Their lives, full of promise, were stolen by a man who valued money above humanity. But their memory endures, in the hearts of loved ones, in the lessons learned by investigators, and in the enduring reminder that behind every crime statistic lies real people, real families, and real heartbreak. Interview. Friend of the family. They were kind, ordinary people. That's what makes it so painful. They could have been any of us. Their story needs to be remembered. The Chohan's tragedy is not just a story of crime. It is a story of love, loss, and the devastating consequences when human greed turns deadly.